All right, I've got 10 o'clock. Welcome everybody to today, June 16th, 2026, regular County Board of Supervisors meeting. Before we get started, I do want to make sure if you are on Teams, I please request that you use your first and last name for the meeting. If you would like to speak, please raise your hand or use the raise hand function on Teams there. And we'll be able to unmute you. When we do that, I would just please ask that you state your first and last name and where you're from for the record, if you'd like to speak in the meeting. So thank you everybody for joining us today. So the first item up for today's meeting would be to call this meeting to order. Next, I would ask that as you are able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next item up for business, we to approve the meeting minutes dated June 2nd, 2026 and June 9th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments on the meeting minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 4 would be to approve today's agenda.
I'll move item 4.
I would move that we move the agenda with the exception of tabling C and D in the consent.
John, can you talk more to the microphone?
I would move that we approve the consent agenda except we table C and D.
I think this is just moving the item 4, correct? For right now.
Yeah.
Approve the agenda except in item 5, we table C and D.
C and what?
C and D.
D.
Thank you.
So there's a motion to table. Is there a second to table it?
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments on the motion? So then the proposal would be tabling item 5, C and D.
So by tabling it, sorry, Chief Deputy Derek Christie, by tabling, is this moving it on to a discussion after the meeting, or is it pulling it off and putting it on to the normal agenda?
It would be tabling is pulling it off of this agenda and putting it on the agenda in 2 weeks. Would be
Okay.
the standard procedure.
Okay, are there questions on it? I mean, we sent out an email that asked if there were questions regarding these increases, and we got nothing from anybody with any questions. So if it is going to be tabled, I guess I would ask, what are the questions that we're already seeking out
Well,
prior to this meeting?
one thing I noticed, and I'm sorry, I just noticed it this morning, that you are presenting these as salaries, and when I go through your our budget we proposed, I've got them as hourly.
Okay,
And so I'm still trying to figure out all the percents and everything.
yes, and I believe Shauna should have that email with the hourly rates on there.
So I just got some math
Okay.
I'd like to do.
Okay, very good. Anything else? Any other questions on that we can answer now?
Any other questions or comments on item 4? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 5 would be to approve today's consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 6 would be to approve and authorize funding of an additional $1,500 and 0 cents for each incorporated city in Webster County for recycling for fiscal year 2025, 2026.
I'll move item 6.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments on that?
This is already budgeted for this current fiscal year, so those payments will be sent out by the end of July here, or June, sorry. I had talked with a couple of the cities, Callender and Otho in particular. We're just looking more help for funding this. They have small tax bases, hard to do it. A lot of the rural citizens and farmers use the recycling, which can overload those bins and increase the price. So they were just looking for a little bit more relief on that. And like I said, it already has been budgeted for this current fiscal year. Yeah, we'll have to make that decision on if the board wants to, because it wasn't budgeted for FY 26-27. But if the board decides we want to increase that amount again to be 3,000 for each in total, then we'll have to make that decision and do a budget amendment on that. Yep.
Any other questions on item 6? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 7 to be to approve and authorize chair to sign a contract for library services for Webster County.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments on item 7? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 8 would be to approve the transfer from General Supplemental Fund 0002 to General Basic Fund 0001 in the amount of $242,000 and $242,051 for reimbursement for district court services.
I'll move item 8.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions or comments on item 8? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 9 would be to approve the transfer from General Basic Fund 0001 to General Supplemental Fund 0002 in the amount of $46,284.20 for reimbursed child support recovery unit employee benefits.
Moved.
Second.
Motion is second on item 9. Any questions or comments? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 10 would be to approve transfer from Lost Fund 0052 to General Basic Fund 0001 in the amount of $129,343.46 for permanent building improvements.
Item 10.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments on item 10? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 11 be to approve and authorize chair to sign amended and substituted 2080 agreement between Hamilton County, Iowa and Webster County, Iowa for assistance to Hamilton County Attorney Services by the Webster County Attorney's Office.
So moved.
Motion is second. Questions or comments on the 2080 agreement?
This is my office's 2080 agreement. This is entering year 2 of this agreement, which has been, I think, pretty beneficial for Webster County in allowing Webster County in tough budget times with the 2% growth cap imposed by the legislature, allowing Webster County to still pay fairly competitive salaries for highly skilled employees, specifically the attorneys in my office. The only change from the agreement signed in the spring of 2025 is I kind of underestimated one area of work, and I discussed this back when we had our budget meeting. If you go back and watch the video, I underestimated how much their assessor's office work that I handle solely was going to take. So their supervisors reached out to me over in Hamilton to see if I would be willing to stay on, and they offered an additional $5,000. So that's the only change that really impacts Webster County. I do believe Pat Chambers, their attorney, asked to tweak the agreement from year 1 into this year 2, asked to tweak the agreement to make clear that any expert witnesses for those property assessment appeals were handled by their, not by either the county attorney's offices, but handled by their conference board. Otherwise, it's the same exact agreement we've been acting under for a year.
Any questions on the 2080 agreement? All right.
That one's on me. So moved. We did.
So no other questions or comments. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 12, receive and place on file bids for animal control services contract. So, yep, need a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Go ahead and open our bids. So we'll be reading the bids here. And then at our next meeting, reading the bid, sorry.
I have two, actually. The first one here is from submitted by Total Animal Control Company. Contact person is Blaine Hepp. And let's see. Do you want me to read the whole thing or just the amount? Cost proposal or? Is there
How long is it?
3-4 pages long?
Keep it out and keep it on file for review, or how do we?
I think that makes sense. I'm assuming based on the bidding procedure that there were a list of duties. So as long as it seems to satisfy that and doesn't ask for any exception to any of those duties in the letter, I don't think you need to read the whole thing.
Okay,
Yeah, and we can review that then
Yeah.
to our bid before we award.
Yeah, I see there's not an action item on it. It's just receiving and placing it on file. So
cost proposal is annual contract amount is 19,200. This breaks down to 1,600 per month and includes the following: general liability insurance coverage, auto insurance coverage, monthly retainer fee, animal control response services, investigation services, transportation services, reporting and administrative functions, equipment and personal cost. Monthly bills will be itemized by date, address, animal retained, deputy involved, and hours of service. That's the first one. Next one is ASAP Safety LLC, doing business as ASAP Services. Looks like their cost structure is monthly retainer, $2,000. This includes 24-hour on-call response per animal, TBD. Does this include wildlife, deers, or just dogs and cats? Hourly rate for response is $35 per hour, 4-hour minimum. Payment will be monthly upon receipt. And another comment is, I believe the monthly retainer and warranted other callouts would equal out to less than 30,000 per month. Is that correct?
Let's say 30,000 per month. I wonder if they meant year.
I am willing to sit down and discuss all issues and negotiate cost and payment. I use QuickBooks and invoicing for billing. Justin Goodnow. That's all I have.
Bids.
Mhm.
So we'll receive those and then get together and look at those and review them against our bid proposal. Probably work with you a little bit, make sure we're not what we're missing or not missing. Do the awards at our next meeting. So any other questions or comments on the animal control services bids? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 13 would be to approve lowest bid for building maintenance contract. See bids in the auditor's office. Yep, we need a motion for,
Based on what I dug through, I would move for building maintenance, for Johnson Control. Hard to figure out.
That's the 3-year ad.
Your deal.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some heartburn.
it is, so we got a motion for Johnson Controls. Need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, motion is second. So questions or comments?
the dollar figure.
There you go. Have a table.
380.
368, 718 for year 1. Year 2 would be 406, 27. And then the third year would be 426,393.
I believe it was bid out as was it a 1-year proposal with a possible extension? I believe is what the bid said.
My
Correct.
understanding.
Yep. But would you come up and
I say, yeah, maybe if you get,
come up and
Name is Ben Owens with Johnson Controls, and yes, it is a 1-year contract with an extension option for years 2 and 3.
What was your name again?
Ben Owens, Hones.
That's an option for the county to be able to exercise years 2 and 3.
Yes, correct.
I just want to make sure when I saw that, I want to make sure that there wasn't an expectation that,
Yeah, the request for proposal said that it was 1 year with, and you guys wanted options, so that's what we did. Yep. Yep.
Will there be a person on site then every day?
Yes, that's the plan.
there are questions on the maintenance proposal. All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
I,
Excuse me, opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 14, approve lowest bid for janitorial contract. See bids in the auditor's office.
Motion to approve the lowest bid to ASAP Services in the amount of $229,172.80.
second.
Motion is second. Questions or comments on the janitorial services contract?
That just, the 1 year is any renewal provision,
1 year.
just 1 year flat.
Nick Moore.
If you just state your name and where you're from real quick for the record.
Nick Moore for Dodge. So I'm just curious, going forward, when we do bids like this, is it at the end of the day, the lowest bid is the one accepted, or is there a specific criteria that you guys are looking for?
Based on the math I did with this one, we accepted the lowest bid.
Okay.
Can you restate your name?
Nicholas Moore.
To always accept the lowest bid if there are other factors involved, but if all else is equal, the low bid gets it.
Any other questions or comments? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. Motion carries. Next would be the citizens' opportunity to address the board with items not on the agenda. Yes.
Tina Castendick, Elkhorn Township. I have been doing some research in some zoning issues and other economic issues in Elkhorn Township, which I've been a member of Elkhorn Township, I think, for 36 years or more. Who knows? But it's getting there. With that, I'm sure you're aware that we have parallel to Highway 20. There is a housing development that runs on the blacktop that's Mallinger and 235th Street. And there's also housing by the River Road, that kind of thing. With that, we're experiencing mining, which we have had mining before when it jumped across the river. And then it stopped. But right now, the mining that's going on, which is strip mining, that's what it is. It's not digging holes or anything like that. Well, it's digging holes, but it's strip mining. It is right in our backyards, right up to our backyards. If you go and drive on 235th Street, you'll see it. The gates are already up. The land equipment's already taking the black dirt off, and you can hear it all the time, the noise. So with that, going through some issues with just questions I have been working with the planning and zoning, and I've been working with the auditor's office. They have been very wonderful to work with, trying to help with any information requests that I may have. With that being said, there is a lot of documents that are gone. They're not there. We have searched for them. You guys are pretty new to the supervisors. Every time you go through supervisors through voting, and different elected officers into the auditors and stuff, things can change. But I'm still working with that. The big question I have for you as supervisors today is, there was a comprehensive plan, future land use map, adopted in 2009. Okay, you can find that online. Okay, with that, I would like to know, when will this plan be revised and updated? If so, I need more information about that. If not, I'd like to know why not. 2009 is a long time ago. Fort Dodge and Webster County has changed immensely since then. And as supervisor, I don't know what your plan of review is on a plan that was adopted in 2009.
For
And
some reason, I'm thinking that a few years ago, we looked at this and had gone over it, maybe hired a consultant. I can't remember, but it was definitely in the Planning and Zoning Commission and
Okay.
on there.
Yeah.
no, I did not
It
see any
was, I think
information
it
on
was
that.
and I have to look, I think it was my first year in, we did an update on it. We can get that I'm pretty certain we did it. I'd have to go look at my email, but I'm pretty certain we did one.
Back
20,
around the time they were getting ready to build the Marker gas station.
yeah, but yeah,
About the same time we were.
2016.
no, like
23 or 22.
3 years ago. I want to say like 3 years ago.
Okay.
I'd have
I
to
may be
look it
wrong,
up.
but I was thinking we actually did get that through planning as well. Do you remember, Jamie?
We did update.
Okay. And that was in
I've
what
talked
you
to-
said,
I would defer
2022?
to Jeff on that.
It's around that time frame.
Okay. Okay. This update, is that done in a general meeting like this, or is it a working meeting?
And there's public notices put out. I think I don't know if they have to have a couple meetings on it before it moves forward. And they're kind of an advisory board to the board of supervisors, and then the board of supervisors has to vote on it probably a couple times to approve it, is my recollection of the process. But it's definitely a multi-tiered. Most of the public discussion gets worked out at the Planning and Zoning Commission level. I'm thinking we had a meeting in the courtroom about this topic, is my recollection. There were a couple of hot button issues for their commission, but I'm thinking this was part of it. Looks like Jeff's up. He might be able to answer some questions. But,
Looks like it was August of 23.
23.
There was that is the process for it.
So I'm assuming there's notes and everything that I could look at.
Yeah, and actually, Margot Knippel is the chair of that commission. I could get you her contact information. She would probably be the party, other than if Jeff has those handy, who could point you in the right direction, and she would probably remember it off the tip of her tongue. She knows that stuff very well.
And was that attended by public and public notice? Given it work, yeah, like a working one. I've seen that, but I'm just,
Nothing's done without it being a public meeting.
and it's in the paper, right? How is that?
Published notice of those planning and zoning meetings.
I guess if you want to, I say, Jeff, if you want to, not to. put
Paper
you on the spot,
notification.
Questions about the comprehensive plan.
I say, if you want to come up real quick and just state your name.
Well, and I'm just looking so that I can read it, okay?
No,
Um,
And I
Because I will
just-
tell you, when this is an issue and everybody knows it, not a lot of people get the paper anymore. And and I know this is statewide, the rules that you have to do to announce a meeting. And when you do get the paper, I can see pretty darn good without glasses, but you need a magnifying glass to see anything on those notices. They're so tiny. And it's not, what would I say, inclusive environment for people to, what I do is I look on Facebook a lot of times because there's an individual that updates things on Facebook, and I appreciate that. But I just,
Font size they have to use is set by statute as well. And I'm sure it's microtype, but it's because these.
I
legal
think it's
notices-
under a 10. I think
these
it's like an
legal notices
08.
Have so much content in them. Sure they're in compliance as last we checked with all those requirements.
Yeah, well, and then if you look at how many people have dropped the newspaper, that's sad. We're coming back into other things, but basically, I just wanted to be able to read it and know when it was updated. I have looked at the original plan, and if you look at the original plan from 2009, I wanted to know how this had changed, because in 2009, your goal number 1 was ag and natural resources, and goal 1 was be a leader, Webster County, in ag and environmental practices. Number 2, protect and enhance prime ag land. And number 3, guide and develop, enhance and environmental and water resources. And with that plan, I'm looking at some of the things that are going on in Webster County, and it is completely conflicting that. You're taking good farmland, taxed for farmland, and it's being stripped. And I know that the mills have been here forever. I've lived in this area next to forever. I just hate seeing when we have a comprehensive plan that values agriculture and environmental resources, we're not following it. We're not. Just come look at my road. And that's the road everybody sees when they drive by on Highway 20. I am a devout member of Webster County and Elkhorn Township. And when I go on Highway 20 and there's a town or something, you know, nice big marker, you'll see maybe a housing division or something like that. The last thing I want to see is a major corridor that goes past Webster, through Webster County and towards Fort Dodge is an open pit mine. Just saying, if we're trying to draw people in, doing that right off Highway 20 is not a good idea. And also with the taxation, that'd be a wonderful place to have a housing development. It's gorgeous down there. And the tax money that you can get and pull students into the school district, students into the school districts in Webster County, it's right on that 20 corridor. And it's, I don't know, it can go backwards at all, but you're looking at a mess out there. So you got people coming in to Webster County on 20, and you have them coming on 169, and then they can jump to the other side, which is off of 20 going through that way. Mine, strip mines, mine. That is what we're proposing as supervisors without following the comprehensive plan, unless when you revised it in 2022, the new comprehensive plan would say mining key feature goal 1. Kind of doubt it does. Okay. Another thing is, if you look under goal 2 and you look at the sub ones, it says very first, protect the farmland. Is that being done? Because once you strip mine something, it's never going to be farmland again. You can't farm in a hole. It's the way it is. You can say, I'm going to make it into a park for RVs and stuff like that, which is economic, family, that kind of thing, but it'll never be farmland again. And we all know that we have some of the best dirt around here that you can get anywhere, and we're chucking it for mining that will be lucky if the mining continues another 10 years. Just spot processes. So that is why I'm asking the questions about the comprehensive plan. So my plan will be to look at your updates on the 20, because I could be wrong. Maybe everybody decided at that meeting that agriculture was not as important that it was in 2009. I will also tell you that in 2009, with the meeting they had on the comprehensive plan, if you looked at it, They had an online result of only 82 people even commenting, because it was also noted in the notes that they delayed some of the decisions during the 2009 comprehensive plan meetings, because a couple people came and said, nobody knows about this. Nobody can read it in the paper. Nobody knows that it's coming. So they delayed it 2 weeks and 2 weeks again. They also, of the people that came in for the working meeting in 2009, they had 8 citizens that were not directly connected with the supervisor's plan. That's why I'm interested with these new update ones. Do we have more than 8 people coming? And if so, I mean, I would have gone, but I didn't know about it, mainly because I don't get the paper anymore, you know? So you don't get a paper, then you get on the website and then you can look. But if you're a working individual like I am, that's really hard to keep up with these. So I don't know what the answer is for that. But with that, so I'll get that information from you guys and see if there's anything different with that. Also, I was interested in if there was an update. What is the plan for this county and Elkhorn Township 5, 10, and 50 years from now? Is there a plan to put on the intersection of 169 and 20 a casino? Because that's what I want to see when I go to Fort Dodge. Okay? Because a lot of this stuff doesn't get out there until the last minute. Then nobody shows up to the meetings because there's not enough working time for people to get to it. And then you get people like me are like, how in the heck did that happen? And then I have to start going through this, which a lot of times it's too late. I just built a brand new house, which I had to struggle for 2 years to build a house on my own property and pay a lot of money in surveys for that, which got fixed, which I'm totally fine with that. I have a brand new house now that just got jumped in taxes, which I'm fine. I have a new house. I'm fine with the taxes at this point because that area is beautiful. But now I've got a strip mine to the east of me, to the north of me, and possibly to the west of me with a casino. Is that how we're planning our county? Is that how we're planning our townships? Big stuff to think about. So, like I said, my next issue is I'll look at that minutes for the 2023, and I just, if anybody has any thoughts, if you'd like to talk about this, I just don't even know what to do.
So
And it's not just me. It affects everybody that's around us. You got both sides of the highway, and a lot of people were just astonished when they started putting the gates in. Gorgeous farmland. It's going to be gone. It'll be gone in what, a year? Less. Any thought? Huh, you know.
Timber, yeah.
Yeah, you know. And the whole thing is it got done without any records that I can find. Their publications are not in the books from then. Okay. And it's not necessarily anybody's fault because most people here were not working at that time. But you say, well, it got done. It was done this way and this way and this way. I've lived there for 36 years. If there was a notice, I would have went. If there was a workshop, I would have gone because I've gone to quite a few. People know me, okay? So obviously there wasn't any notices out there, which is very frustrating because I've raised my family there and I want to stay there and I want to be here. And it's how many Nate knows, loud all the time. They've got land movers behind there all the time. The dirt is all over all the time now. And this is just this year and it's going to get bigger around there. And what are the other plans? Are they going to jump over in Savage Edition? Are they going over there? I would like to know, what are the plans for 5, 10, and 50 years? Because that makes decisions for the people who live there. If you're gonna go mining all the way up to 20 and then jump across this 169 and stuff, a lot of those people need to know it, and they'll probably move away. Just saying. That would be sad. Because this place is awesome and I wanted to stay here until I die, but if I got a casino and mines all around my house, probably not gonna want to do that, would you? You know, it's the old saying, if you wouldn't have it around your house and your family, why would it be imposed on anyone else? And I understand a lot of people work at the mills. A lot of my family has worked at the mills, but we have known for 20 years now that the mills are going down because there isn't enough to mine. We know that. And it's not going to be here for 100 years out. It's going to be short-lived. So the decisions need to be made of, if the mills are not here, what do we have? We have agriculture. That's what we're known for. And families. Okay, any questions for me? I got my question answered with this one.
Yeah, and
Great.
Jeff's here. I don't know that you need to come up. I just, if they were gonna
And
talk to you, I wanted to have you come up, but what I would recommend is,
Tina, just to come to my office and talk. A lot of her questions and issues go deep. There's a lot of history there.
yeah,
And there's reasons why certain things were done.
yeah, so I guess the follow-up to that would be, make sure, because we do have, I pulled it up real quick, we do have the latest comp plan on the website there.
And do you know what the first goal is?
It's good.
Yeah, it's a corridor.
Yeah,
In 2009, the major focus was the corridor, but it was also to get grant money for all of our paths, our bike paths and stuff. That's what 2009, that was a directive from the state that if we had this, then we would get this in the back door. And if you look at all the meeting notes, that's mainly what it was. It was corridor and bike paths. It was not pushing mining up to the corridor.
Yeah, I would recommend it. It's on here. I would start with Jeff and with the planning and zoning
Do you know
commission
what
there.
goal one is for that?
There's
division?
there's separate goals for each division that we were going by the current comprehensive plan 2023. What happened back in
2009.
2009 is important, but we moved ahead. We're in the
Yeah.
future here. Mining is a major industry in this county, which should be supported. I mean, agricultural too. Those are our top two, but it needs to be done respectively. Adjacent to property owners in terms of providing buffers and being neighborly about
Yeah.
it. So she does have some legitimate concerns about this, and
Yeah, so
I'm just here to work with her.
yeah,
And the gypsum companies, they're very secretive about what they do and how they operate. So, I've tried reaching out with them, what their plans are. They do not like to really disclose those future plans, but they do have certain entitlements out there, just like agricultural farmers do. So,
yeah,
the balancing act we have to work out. So.
yeah. So I would start, if you guys want to get together, and then we can go from there, because that's where it's gonna have to start at. So
See what the updates were on that.
But you'll be the first one to know if we ever get a developer or any interest in a casino coming here, Tina.
No, that is not true. That is not true.
I mean-
And the last casino went in, we were the last ones to know on that road, the last.
Yeah.
We found out about it. We put letters out. We talked to neighbors. Your mom was involved. We did not know until the very end. Same with changes in like MC Mechanical. That's a business, okay? We're all ag too. We never knew about that one because it wasn't put through planning and zoning, was jumped right to supervisors. So when they say they'll let you know, that is not always true. It's not always true. How did any of our ag two houses, acreage houses, get changed to mining without anybody's notice? See what I'm talking about?
yeah, I would connect with Jeff and the planning and zoning commission first, and then
I've already checked the casino's site and everything to see where they are with the state of Iowa on which it's a bidding process for the Emmitsburg license, and I'm following that right at this time.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
thank you. Any other comments, questions, statements folks want to make? All right. Hearing nothing else there, next will be the Board of Supervisors Committee reports.
So tonight I have a meeting about the landfill. This afternoon, I have an exciting meeting with conservation. Next week, I will have Midas. I forgot, tomorrow is Greater Growth Alliance. I have CICS next week as well. And then last weekend, the Webster County Crime Stoppers put on a golf tournament. It was a great time and I had fun volunteering, and I'm sure everybody who played had a great time playing. And then as far as summer activities go, don't forget to check out what's going on at the library. They're doing a bubble party right now. Conservation has things, APHIS has things, Parks and Recs has things, many local churches has things, and we do have a mosque now. Maybe they're doing something. So a lot to do out there.
I have a leadership culture meeting with department heads tomorrow morning, and then the Greater Fort Dodge Growth Alliance Board meeting as well.
Last week, again, I was gone. I appreciate Brad McIntyre sitting in for our special meeting that we had. It was a really great opportunity. I happen to be president of the association for this year, so I had to introduce all the speakers and got a chance to discuss hot topics that we're dealing with here in Webster County with some of our legislators. Learned a lot from various folks about law enforcement, taxation, other things that county attorneys deal with. And again, I think I mentioned this the week before, but to kick off the event on Sunday night of last week, Brad McIntyre and Bailey Kavanaugh, along with my investigator, Larry Headland, gave about a 2-hour presentation on a murder investigation and prosecution that we successfully prosecuted at trial to kind of pass on that knowledge to the association. So really proud of my team. I learned a lot being there this week, and hope we can help apply that to fix some of the issues we've got that periodically pop up in Webster County.
Great job to the auditor and the team in there getting through the election and getting our canvas done last week. There's a lot of work that goes on to that or into that. And so I'm grateful for everybody that helped get that election through and for all their time and effort to make that successful. So I appreciate that. Coming up this week, I think the only thing I've got is next week I've got a City County Growth Alliance collab meeting. That's kind of all I've got for this week. So just looking at my calendar. So I don't have anything else to report. So next item up for business would be to allow claims.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions or comments on the claims? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Last item for business would be to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments before we adjourn? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We are adjourned.